Hello and welcome to Tête-à-tête with Tiwa. I'm Tineke.
I'm Wale.
And today we are going to be talking about submission. Now, I'm not entirely sure that this is a good idea, but we're going to try it. So, submission, Wale.
Yeah. I'm listening.
What do you think about submission? This came up because I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, a relatively newlywed lady, and she was just saying that she struggles with it. And I said to her, you struggle with it? I said, I see submission as power. That's what I said. And so I said to Wale, let's talk about submission today. And he was like, do you submit? So I thought we better talk about this because clearly we have different impressions of what's up. So what do you think?
Yeah. Well, okay, look. First things first. This is my personal view, though. I think a big deal is made out of unnecessary. And because it's a big deal now, what's happened is you get younger women, I find, fighting against what they think is the status quo. And so they come into relationships, marriages, let's say. They come into marriages already with a preconceived idea that they are meant, or rather, that they're coming into this situation and this person is going to try and take advantage of them or subjugate them. So where the communication or whatever you might call it might not be perfect and might be perhaps skewed in that direction a bit, it becomes an anti-submission protest or whatever you call it. So, I mean, this is just my impression. This is what I get. Now, submission in the real, well, I'm not saying real, this is my opinion. Really, it's just we submit to one another. If I don't even like the word submit. Submit. But
why are you ignoring my question?
Do you submit to me? Yes, you do. But it's what you see, it's a reciprocal thing. Reciprocal. Sorry, is that the word? Reciprocal.
It's the idea.
We get the idea. Yes. So that's what it is. You submit. Essentially, what it is that you are answerable to each other for the benefit of your relationship and each other. So you do what is necessary to move that forward, the relationship, yeah, the wellness of the relationship. I don't know, am I rambling? But yes.
Or is it because of my positioning? Sorry, no.
No. I'm just saying. But yeah, submission. I think it flows each way. Now, are there some instances when perhaps you will leave decision making to me? Some people might say that is submission. I say at times that's common sense. No, I'm not kidding. The same way that I at times will leave decisions to you. It's not because of submissions. No, it's common sense.
Okay, can I tell you how I see submission? Why I said I think submission is power. Can I tell you?
Oh yeah, please, because I feel that I'm going to be let into information that I didn't have before now.
Okay, so I think you kind of know this because it's not something I've hidden. So for me, I think when I first, it was even before I became a wife, but anyway, I had identified the fact that a wife is a helper to a husband. And the same word that they use for the word helper in the Bible is the word that they use for the word helper for Holy Spirit. So for me, that was just liberating. Like if I am like what the Holy Spirit is to a Christian is what I am to my husband. Hello, I mean, so that totally freed my mind in terms of submission. And I always have this thing, and I say this all the time: the person that needs help probably knows less than the person that helps. Because if you knew it, you wouldn't need help. So it's already a power thing. And I think one of my pastors always says, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck, or something. I don't know who says it, but I've heard that many times. And I think for me, it's that thing of understanding that yes, when push comes to shove, in the end, if there's a disagreement, if you can't come to an agreement, whatever, then you have to he is the head, so you submit to him, you submit to your husband, and accept whatever it is he says. But that doesn't mean that you're a fool. It doesn't mean that you don't have a say. It doesn't mean that and a lot of the time, I feel like we as women, or a lot of women, mess up that power that they have in submission.
Yeah, go on.
Mess up that power that they have in submission in an attempt to there's this saying, I say this all the time. I say, if you're rich, you don't have to tell anybody, it shows. If you're posh, if you have to tell somebody you're posh, or you have to tell somebody that you're rich, you're probably not as posh or as rich as you think you are. And I think that's the thing. If you have to tell somebody you're powerful, or try to prove your power all the time, then you're probably not that powerful.
Which boils down to common sense.
Okay. You want to put it like that?
Okay. So now I'm not, trying not to be funny about it. When I say funny, not to be rude, but some things just make sense. If you come in, again, it's about what is the relationship about? Are we fighting each other?
Are we together?
Or are we together?
And I think for me, what makes it easy, in a sense, it's just because submission doesn't mean that because I've submitted that I'm going to agree with everything, or that some things won't be hard to deal with, or whatever. But for me, what makes submission easy, and I say easy in inverted commas, I don't even find submission particularly hard. But anyway, what makes submission easy for me is the fact that because I have a wonderful husband.
I'm thinking, so I asked the question, and it was genuine. When I said, do you submit? And I didn't mean that as in...
You didn't say, do you submit? You said, do you submit? It's a very different question.
No, but I meant it as in...
As in,
As opposed to you don't submit. It's not a thing.
Yeah, no,
but you see,
okay, yeah, and I think that's true with a lot of things in our relationship, that it's not a thing, and people make things more of a thing. But anyway, what I was saying, as in what makes it easier for me, if you like, is the fact that I know that in all of this, we're submitted to God. So God is, is like, in submitting to Him, for me, a lot of that is I'm submitting to God. So if I say I'm not submitting to Him, then am I submitting to God? If I am actually saying that I am married to this man and we're Christians and God says He's the head, and then I'm now saying I'm not submitting to Him, then what am I actually saying to God? So I feel like, and a lot of the time, if there's something that I'm submitting to that I really don't agree with, or I don't want to, then I take it up with God. I don't really take it up with Him. I'll let Him know that actually I'm not keen on this, I don't agree, I'm not sure, whatever. But then the real conversation happens with God. Like, okay, Lord, you said I should submit to Him. Don't agree with what He's doing, but I'm submitting to Him. So I'm expecting you, being that you are the God of this marriage, to sort it out. Either sort me out or sort Him out. You know what I mean? Make it easier for me to deal with, or let Him realize that maybe we should change direction, whatever it is.
This is in case you are not correct.
Yes. If I'm submitting.
On the rare occasion.
On a very rare occasion.
Yeah, right.
Then I had to kind of...
But if it's a situation where I don't agree with what you've decided to do, but obviously I'm going along with it because I'm submitting, and whatnot, I won't just not tell you.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll let you know, but I will still submit. So I think so. For me, I just think that.
Well, but hang on. But this thing, like I said, is reciprocal, because it happens with you as well. Where there's something that you want to do, or there's some decisions you want to make.
Yeah.
And I say to you, I'm not really, but I see that decision to you.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I'm not referring to that is because a lot of the time when submission comes up, it's all about, and unfortunately I don't think that's all about. It's all about the woman submitting. So
see what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's why I'm addressing it from that point of view. But I hear you. It's not, you're not wrong. without. Yeah, so the Bible actually says submit one to another.
One to another. You see, this is the
Yes,
point
I
I'm
know,
trying to
but
make.
but it's also what has been put out there by some Christian leaders and whatnot that make it seem, and they say something like, oh, you must, so there's a lot of pressure. So basically, that's why I'm talking about it from a female perspective, because that's generally the way it is sold, if you like, or whatever.
Right.
So what I'm saying, ladies, is see submission as power. Embrace it. Understand that you are your husband's helper. And because you are his helper, this means that he needs, as in, you have something he needs. So give it. Do you know what I mean? And don't withhold, don't.
There was something that crossed my mind the other day. I don't know. Perhaps I was speaking to somebody about it. And again, it was this up in arms about it's not my head or not, and all that stuff. So I go to like a business organization. There is a leader, and there is a second in command. Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, most times, those individuals run that
Of course.
company, whatever it is, together. The decisions are made and decided between them. It's just that there has to be somebody at the rudder. And that's just the way it is. It makes sense. Logical sense. You can't have two people at the rudder. One person wants to go left, one person wants to go right.
But you see, it's funny you say that, because when I was talking to this
You're
lady,
not going anywhere.
when I was talking to this lady yesterday, I said, effectively, it's like, and it's so funny you use that analogy, because I said it's like, you have the CEO, who is God. You have the COO, who is the man. And then you have the, like, I don't know, operations manager, whatever she
No,
the person.
that's the
Okay, the person,
CEO is operations.
but who is up directly under operations?
So it could be technical, it could be...
Okay, anyway, the point being that you are submitted to the COO, but if the COO is maybe not doing things quite right, you can go to the CEO, innit? Do you know what I mean? Because you have direct access to the CEO.
Let me reject that on your behalf. God is the chairman.
Okay, God is the chairman.
Yeah.
The man is the CEO.
Yes.
And you are the COO.
Right.
Okay.
And
So Chief Executive Officer and Chief Operating Officer.
And the chairman is an executive chairman, which means he is active still within, and his decisions count, as opposed to a non-executive chairman who really is a figurehead.
Okay. So there you go. So know your position, but also know who is above you and how you know what I mean? It's like, I don't even like the word above, but like
Yeah, I get your
because I think that
makes a lot
because
of
we're
sense.
so busy fighting that I'm in charge.
Yeah, this
is
thing
my
about
this, is my
fighting,
if you
I
could
don't
just
get it.
own your, as in what's that? There's this same thing where they say stay in your lane, just own your role, do it to the best of your ability, and leave it. And if especially for us that are Christians, then God will honor that, because that's one of the things that God has asked us to do. So why are we not doing it? Anyway, that's my take on submission. I think submission is power, and I think we should embrace it as women and not look at it as a dirty word or a negative thing or a condescending thing. Yeah. And I know that there's some men, so let me even address this. I know there's some men that will say, you need to submit. Why are you not submitting? Because you're not a submissive wife. So I know that is there, and that is totally unacceptable and wrong of them. This is really not about us as women, because... Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
What if, in this bid to not want to submit, as it were, the situation is then exasperated?
But that is the case, isn't it, most of the time?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, look, I know that there's some men that need to go back to school. Or when I say to school, it could be back to their moms and all that sort of stuff to get to be reorientated. But yeah, there are men like that. So let's not address those men, because they have some more learning to do. But most men, well, actually I can't say that, can I? A lot of men would actually submit to someone who's submissive to them.
So you're saying it's conditional then?
Well, you see, the thing is, yeah, it probably is, but you know what I'm saying is this. If you're getting stick constantly, there's a likelihood that you might be giving out stick as well. So what am I saying? You're not fighting. It's not a fight. What you're trying to do is figure out, and I see where you're talking about power, submission being power here. If you think about it, the help meet is probably the one that's in control. Oh, yeah, really, that's it. In control, really. And you can work it. Well, I shouldn't be saying this, should I? Jeez.
No, you shouldn't. Stop there. Don't be giving them any ideas. But you know what I also think? I think for me, one of the things that I'm always, like when I talk to younger, like I say newlyweds, but not newlyweds, but people who have been married less time than us, one of the things that I always say to them is, the Bible says that you should submit to your husband. Yeah, they said men love your wives as Christ loved the church. And then it says wives submit unto your husbands. Now, obviously, in a lot of teaching, it's taken out, because obviously there's the submit one to another before that, but forget all about that. For me, it doesn't say if your husband loves you, then you must submit. It doesn't say that. It's not conditional. It says, so for me, whether he is loving me as Christ loves the church or not, my duty is to submit, regardless of how he's acting. And I think that's where we sometimes miss it. And that's why I said to use it conditional, because I feel like a lot of the time we look at it, well, he's not loving me, so I'm not going to submit. Well, she's not submitting, so I'm not going to love her. But it's really not about that. It's that whether or not you are loving me, I need to be submitting, and whether or not I'm submitting, you need to be loving.
Yeah, absolutely.
We both have our roles to do. We're doing them because God tells us to do them, not because Tinuke is submitting. So
well, you're right.
Now, the truth of the matter is, when you are loving me like Christ loves the church, it's much easier for me to submit because there's no big deal. It's like I feel appreciated, valued. I feel, so I'm willing to submit. I want to submit.
Yeah.
But I think it's key to mention that even if you are not, I have a responsibility as a Christian to still submit. As a married woman who has taken those vows, I have a responsibility to
Absolutely, and the men also have a responsibility to love their wives, regardless of whether they are submitting or not. Because that's your first, in fact, that's the first instruction, isn't it?
And the power of love, when you love somebody.
As Christ loves the church, which is unconditional, it's sacrificial.
Is that my bra strap? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's sacrificial, and therein lies the solution to all the problems. Guys, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Ladies, submit to your husbands, and everything is fine.
I think we're going to come back to this one. I actually feel like we are, because there's so much more that I want to say about, even just about how, when you said that men do this, remember what they sold us on our wedding day, what Alistair said to us, and how, so it's like there's a lot of, but I don't want this one to go on for too long because it's been going on for long already. So we will come back and visit this again. Exciting. Anyway, so that's our take on submission. Yeah. See you next time.
Ciao.